Scary.
How so?
Because I had never seen so many people that I didn't know before, and it was intimidating because I had come from being king of the walk at Franklin Junior High, and I was starting all over again at the very bottom. I thought it was awesome. It was a great, big, brand new world. Well, I still think it's a great institution. I mean, obviously, it's changed over the years from when I was a student to being an adult. I think it's pretty cool that they've taken the time to address their history, with the portraits going down Senior Hall and up the hallways. I think it's important to tap into the legacy. Most of them, most of them liked me quite a bit. A lot of them got frustrated with me because I had a zest for life that wasn't entirely contained. But I got along with almost all of my teachers very well. Good question. I think it would be a toss up between Mrs. Taylor, who was my English teacher, and I liked Mr. Jenkins. Even though he wasn't one of my teachers, I really liked Mr. Jenkins. A great, big, gigantic learning experience. Um, I tried playing football. I wasn't very good. Um, I made a lot of friends. I didn't run with any particular crowd, so I made friends with just about everybody. I thoroughly enjoyed the freedom that came with being able to go off campus. I got in trouble, plenty, but overall it was a positive experience for me. Junior year was kind of like the one in between the sophomore and the senior year were the bookends. And the junior year was kind of I don't know, I guess maybe kind of a toss away sort of thing. I really don't remember too much about my junior year. My senior year was the year that I finally decided that I was going to go to college. My senior year was the year the football team went undefeated and took state in football. Even though I wasn't a player, I was part of the team. Um, I had a positive influence on some underclassmen that I was friends with. So, and then, everything that came around in the spring, right upon graduation, walking in the graduation ceremony, receiving my diploma, going to the all night party, preparing for college. That was how the senior year went. That's a hard one. I'd have to say probably my senior year was my most enjoyable because I was king of the hill then. Well, I wasn't king of the hill, but I was an upperclassman, so there was a certain, um, I guess you might say, an unwritten kind of authority that came with being a senior. A respect and a privilege that came with being a senior. No, we didn't do a senior prank. Things when I was going to Poky were just a shade different in terms of pranking because we got initiated. We went through a whole week of initiation that was sanctioned by the school district and the school. So it was a little bit different than doing a prank. There was a senior sneak. I never found out about that until after the fact, but yeah, I was pretty much focused on what was going on right in front of my nose at some points, so I missed out on some of the bigger class activities. I played football, I tried baseball, and I tried track, but football is the only one that I really stuck with.
Did you enjoy any of them? Like
There were
one in
enjoyable
particular?
moments. Like I said, I wasn't a really great athlete, so I didn't get a whole lot of playing time. I did all the practices and attended all the team meetings, but usually during the games, I suited up and followed the coach around on the sidelines, hoping for a chance to get in and play. But it didn't really ever happen. I was a baritone in the Pocatello High School senior choir. Harmonizing with my friends because some of the people that were in my section were my friends outside of class. So when we sang together, I thought it was pretty cool to sing with your friends. Plus, when you hit that one moment in a song and it makes the hair stand up on your arms because everybody's just harmonizing and singing together, and it's just powerful. I really enjoyed those moments. No, I never auditioned for plays. I took part in talent competitions, and that was about it. And I was a male cheerleader.
Really?
Yes, I was a boy cheerleader.
Tell
But
us
it
more.
it was a prank. It wasn't a prank. It was a spoof. So I wasn't like an actual cheerleader like you see college cheerleaders where they dress up in the uniforms that compliment the girls and they go through routines. We had routines that the cheerleaders taught us, but when it came time to perform those routines, we dressed up in the girls' skirts and we wore sweatshirts and jumped around and acted like fools, and everybody thought it was really funny. An upperclassman would come to your house the night before. They would kidnap you. Kidnap in quotes. Basically, they'd come and smuggle you away from your parents. And they'd take you out. Like, they took me out and they fed me a nice meal. And we had, like, a sleepover. And then they woke me up at, like, oh my God, it's early. And dressed me in that dress. You see, I got my shorts on underneath it. Put the dress on over the top of me, gave me this really silly looking beanie that had my graduating gear on it. It said, oh, here it is right here, yeah. So I had to wear this all day long, and I had to run around, and every time the seniors they had like things they would holler out, like they'd say air raid, and when they said air raid, all of the sophomores, that they were called Sammies, all the Sammies had to drop on their back and make like they were shooting and make rat-a-tat-tat noises. So that picture you see is me going rat-a-tat-tat, rat-a-tat-tat, rat-a-tat-tat. And they do other things like I had to stand on the corner of Yellowstone and Alameda and try to sell squares of toilet paper to people going to work for a quarter a piece. Like stand on the corner, knock on, hey, you want to buy a square of toilet paper? It's only 25 cents. And then with the money that I made from that, I had to walk through the drive-thru at McDonald's to get breakfast for the people that had kidnapped me. We got breakfast at the school, but that's because we were sophomores. But the upperclassmen, yeah, I basically panhandled for their breakfast. So yeah. It was quite a day. Pushing pennies around with your nose. Somebody would drop a penny on the floor or on the tile, and you'd have to sit there and have penny races. I had one friend who pushed so many pennies he wore all the skin off his nose. Yeah. Well, I don't know. It's far removed from the time when I was in high school. I'd say that the programs that they offer, like the classes that you can take at Century or Highland, they give you credit at Poky. That's pretty cool. Obviously, the logos have changed over the years. Everything's become modernized and updated. So, I guess obviously it's got to change, right? Change is good. If it stays the same, then it's never ever going to be any better. No, I was not. I thought about it when I was a sophomore, but as I got older and got more wrapped up in, my own teenagerness, it really didn't interest me. Ooh, that's a good question. What would I have done differently? Mm-hmm. Well, I graduated from high school with a 3.2, which was good enough for me to get into University of Idaho. I think in retrospect, because I got those grades without trying. I did all my homework, obviously I got some B's and C's, but I think if I had applied myself more to my studies and gotten better grades, I could have gotten into a better school. I think that's my only regret, is that I didn't focus more on my actual schoolwork when I was in high school. Absolutely, without a doubt, one of the funnest times. Funnest times? That's not real world. Absolutely. It was one of the best times of my life. I do.
Graduating year?
I do, mostly through social media. My close friends, a lot of them don't live in Pocatello, or the close friends that I had in high school don't live in Pocatello anymore. There are people that still live here in Pocatello who are my high school friends that I run into occasionally, and it's good to see them. But I think it was kind of a moment in time that I was with those people. I mean, they're my friends, but I didn't form like close, lifelong bonds with too many of them.
This time, there was only freshman, sophomore, and senior.
No,
No,
sophomore, junior, senior.
Sophomore, junior,
Yeah,
senior.
why was that?
Why was that?
Yeah.
That's just the way they did school. You went to in Pocatello and throughout a lot of actually throughout the entire state, as far as I know. You went to elementary school, kindergarten through 6, then you went to junior high, 7 through 9, and then you went to high school, 10 through 12. And they changed it up recently. I don't really know why, to 4 years, and then they also went from semesters to trimesters. So we had semesters. We had 2. You know, pretty much just after Christmas break was the end of semester 1, fall semester, and then spring semester picked up end of January, beginning of February. So.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I think that's all the questions I have, unless you.
Giving wisdom to students at Pocatello High. What?
You got 1 minute left.
Okay, I'm sorry. So if I were to give any advice to students at Pocatello High School now, I would say to focus on your career. I would say to focus on your career. Because believe it or not, you're going to need a college degree to succeed. Something in the electronics field would probably be a smart move.
Can you be careful not to bump this, because if you bump it, the whole thing will shake, so the camera will shake back and forth. So.
Sorry, let me get my feet off
It's
the
all
tripod.
Good. It's all good. Want to share something at all?
About
like wisdom or something like that? 'Cause this is going on the Poky Chieftain, so.
It's going on the Poky Chieftain, huh? Wow, big stuff. I feel so important. Maybe I should sit up in my chair some more.
Only because he did.
He's an approved technician
Oh,
for Nuvec. I'm keeping that. Okay.
Extreme close up.
Okay. We can waste like the last 10 seconds.
What's that?
We can waste the last 10 seconds as use them as bloopers.
Bloopers?
Bloopers.
Blooper!
Dap.
Blooper! Dap.
Hey, Mom, you want to say hi?
No.